Alright, so we're going to keep going from that last match pretty much where we left off there. After that loss, shock loss in my opinion, Ike getting blown up like that was really surprising. And we matched into this one, Master Osha. This fallen Ather was actually kind of scary. I was concerned in terms of whether or not Corrin would have been able to win the speed check here against him. Luckily, it kind of worked out in our favor with the future foresight snare thing. That kind of worked out in our favor because if Corrin lost the speed check or even tied, which would have meant that this Ather would have gotten a follow-up attack because of how that B skill works, she would have died because of the reflex support. And yeah, I just, it was super concerning. Would not have been able to tank this with Marth since he would have vantaged, and the vantage doesn't really work very well into reflex damage. You kind of don't want to do that. So Corrin was our best bet here, and also the extra movement and the Lin support made this a really tricky defense to play into. So this was a very well built defense. I'm assuming that this gets a ton of wins, and then you have Yunaka there. I really tried to get Yunaka to take out Ike, but it just wouldn't work. I'm talking about the new Ike, of course. She looks like she has the stuff to be able to do it, but she just can't tank the hits. Even with the Hardy Bearing, she just isn't able to live the counterattack, and subsequently is not able to do her own follow-up and be able to take out Ike that way. And also, she was doing 0 from a lot of my testing. So I don't know if you need to give her some additional. Also, I guess she's hitting his defense, which is pretty high. Maybe if she had some type of adaptive damage, it could work out better, but it just wasn't working with this Yunaka attacking into Ike. And you think it would make sense since she has Arch Rival, plus, you know, she's red. You'd think it would work out, but it wasn't actually happening. So gave up on that idea. But yeah, this was a pretty scary defense to match into. My initial thought was just to tank the Lin and then figure out everything else later, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. Since she had the most range, it was kind of difficult as well because Corrin has the magic save, which sucks. You really want to have a save that covers both. But she only has the magic. That's what she comes with. I have no fodder, so we're just working with that.
Where to?
So essentially, she would not be able to cover everyone from Lin, who has the 2-space coverage. Plus, I think she gets an additional space of movement. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's probably because I partner her with Hearthfelger that is happening, or that's the reason for that happening, the +1 movement. But in any case, she's going to at least get one more threat range, and I figured this was the safest place to stand since it's kind of outside of Ather's threat range, but then also he's going to be getting the +1 range as well, 2-space range from the style effect, so that was also problematic. And also, what is interesting here as well, I kind of wanted to point out, is Heimdaller's thing. He steals bonuses that exist on the terrain, on the map at the start of turn. If that bonus doesn't exist yet, then he can't copy it, which is good for Lin because you're not getting the 2-space attack on turn 1. It's at start of the turn and not phase. So that is some type of interesting counterplay and how you can potentially work around or with that. I guess the argument could be made that you could wait until turn 2 and copy it, or until your turn 2, offense turn 2, copy everything then, kind of like what Tina does. But some of these maps don't give you that luxury, especially when you're not playing with the safety fence like I am. So you gotta, take advantage of what you have available at the time that it is available to you. And if I had the 2-space snipe effect, I would have probably used a different team, a melee Gale Force team, and attacked from 2 spaces away and been able to win this pretty easily. So I want to kind of probably shout out IS there for making it start a turn instead of start a phase, because it actually matters. It shows that they maybe planned this out a little bit, with Heimdallr, with this old man being a thing, and being able to copy, the bonuses the way that he does, it kind of looks like they had some type of foresight in terms of planning. This could just be all coincidental, and they didn't mean for any of this to happen this way, but it works out pretty well in this particular scenario with the mythic Lyn. Granted, you're not going to face her very often on defense, I don't think, since that might phase out pretty quickly as we get, different nukes that can give the three range coverage or 2 range coverage without the status effect, without the score loss, and also they can hit harder. So we're just going to get nukes that will eventually replace her, so you won't have to do that anymore. So I don't think it'll be too much of a big factor moving forward, but currently that is something that you probably want to take, just be mindful of, take into consideration that it is something that could potentially happen if you waited until turn 2 to be able to counterattack or attack into the defense. Now, the only unit that I think I didn't really cover or go over was Ather, who I find an odd addition on this particular banner. I don't know why she's here. I don't know. Why is she here? She's my least favorite of the trio. Golveg, of course, being number 1. And I kind of like baby evil snake girl. She's second place. But yeah, they're all Golveg, I guess. Ather's here on the banner as well for Christmas. And from here, in terms of this match, it was kind of just trying to figure out how to pick off the pieces one by one and not get absolutely obliterated. We do end up winning the speed check against this
I'll follow you.
Ather, surprisingly, because of Sedith. Again, he's fantastic. And also, it was a fortuitous moment because this Ather here does not have the BK support anymore since Black Knight is all the way up here. So it wasn't something that we really had to worry about in terms of the reflex damage. It was something that we could now safely tank and not worry about getting blown up on that counterattack. But I was primarily concerned about his movement, but Lyn wasn't here anymore as well, so you couldn't really get to Sedith. And there's a thing there that you can't really bypass. So safe enough, and it was a good opportunity to try to tank him out now. Tank on the following turn at the very least. So that's what happened that allowed us to beat the Ather here. I don't think we would have... The situations could have been worse. Black Knight could have been in a bit different position and this would not have worked out. But from here, it went pretty well. And we were able to win from here. But yeah, Ather. Don't know why she's on the Christmas banner. Seems like an odd addition. But it looks like I like the upgrade that they did to her kit and what they are now allowing her to do. It bodes well for her refine and remix that is upcoming. Granted, that's probably why they've been doing that a lot lately. With Shez, with Soren. They've been giving us the unit and then giving them a mid refine, and it looks like Ather will be another victim of that. I'm hoping that they at least give her the extra action, capability. I think that's something that she benefits from, and it should be a part of her playstyle because of the Golveg connection, and also the other Hater can do it, so it makes sense that Ather should be able to do it as well. I think that's definitely something that should be crossed over. She doesn't need the special jump or the special charging, that's whatever, but she definitely should get the additional action. I think that's something that her refine and remix for the mythic version should definitely have included. And then I completely forgot what happened in this match. Finally, Ather didn't even attack.
Give the order.
Yeah, but never mind. Yeah, I definitely think Ather should have the additional action economy in her the mythic version in her refine and remix, and then of course she's gonna get more firepower. They always do that. And then I think her end action thing is good enough as it is. It doesn't really need, you don't really need much more than what it does. Maybe res check can be improved. Maybe make it every turn. I don't see why it can't be every turn, since we have the other Golvic that can do it every turn now. You just gotta swap the units, pick the units. There's counterplay for it, I guess, in terms of what it is currently. Being that there's a cooldown, in a sense, because it's not every turn. So I guess pros and cons. I think it's going to be good, and I think it's also not going to be better than the version that they are giving us on the Christmas banner. So yeah, that's probably why she's on the banner getting an alt. There's nothing really about her to me that really screams that this unit needs an alt, and aside from the fact that she's about to get remixed. So there's that. She looks cool. That's about it. I don't really have anything else to say about her. And then, yeah, Ivy. That's the standout from this banner for me, alongside Gate Goat, who is, again, fantastic. But yeah, Ivy is the one that you want to look out for in terms of performance. She is going to be blowing you up on your defenses. And then also they showed on the trailer, Ather barely beating Corrin, like 9 damage. Well, I guess at least being able to do 1 damage is fantastic, but it wasn't really something that I would have highlighted as yes, she won, but I mean, with a little bit more HP, some more res or whatever, that can easily swing. It wasn't that convincing of a matchup showcase. But yeah, Ivy looks threatening. Fast and high res. I thought she would at least be slow, but they gave her the speed, and the potent follow-up is definitely something that she's going to hit. So we're going to be getting blown up. Typically, red flyers are not the greatest. There aren't that many of them I like. I mean, there is that Byleth, the dual Byleth, but not a ton of them are fantastic. So it's good to see Ivy get the goods. Definitely deserves it. Definitely deserves it. And hopefully, like, if there's anyone that I would spark if I was able to, it would be her.
Give the order.
Definitely looks like a strong unit.
I'll take him.
Look at this.
Your life is mine.
103 damage. It's like Black Knight doesn't even matter anymore. GG's. See you in the next one.